Our products application is now exporting this mount function. So now inside of our container, inside the container's bootstrap.js file, we need to make sure that we import the mount function and then eventually call it. So inside of the container source bootstrap.js, we're going to update the products import statement to be curly braces mount from products index. So now that we've got this mount function, we can choose to call it at any point in time that we want, and we can display our product list app at anywhere on the screen. So we could only decide to show the product list when the user is at some particular URL, or maybe when a user clicks on a button, or any other kind of scenario. So for right now, well, we're not really in any of those kind of scenarios. We really just want to show the product list no matter what. So we are going to immediately call mount, and we're going to make sure that we provide a reference to some HTML element that exists inside of the container so that our product list knows where to display itself. So inside of our container index.html file, remember I changed that ID right there just a moment ago to my-products. So I'm going to do a selector and get that element and pass it off to the mount function. Like so. Now, before we test this out, there's one little gotcha inside of here. Remember, we are trying to import products/products index. So that is going to map up to our containers webpack config file. We asked for something from the products module. So that's going to cause our webpack module federation plugin to go and try to load up that remote entry file. That's going to take us into our products webpack config file. Inside of here, we had said if anyone tries to import the products index, then instead give them the index file. Now, just one little issue. Our index.js file is not what is actually exporting that mount function. It's actually the bootstrap.js file. So now, inside of our products webpack config file, rather than giving someone source index if they ask for products index, we actually want to give them the bootstrap file instead, which does export the mount function. So just a little gotcha there. Okay, so I'm going to make that change and save this. We then need to very quickly restart our products application because we just made a change to its webpack config file. So here's products. I'm just going to restart it very quickly. And now I think we are all ready for a test. So back inside my browser, I should be able to go to localhost 8081 and still confirm that everything works as expected. Yep, looks good. And I should be able to go to localhost 8080, refresh the page, and still see my product list appear on the screen. Awesome. Okay, so the pattern that we now have here, specifically inside of our products bootstrap.js file, this is how we are going to export stuff from our application in general. We're going to have some kind of central point inside of our project that's going to define a mount function. The mount function is going to be the true startup location of our project. If we call mount, then we're going to create our React application or our Angular app or our Vue app or whatever else. And we're going to try to render our application into that element. Then lower on down the file, we're going to have these different set of checks. We're going to see if we are running this project in isolation. If we are, we're going to attempt to render our app right away into some element that probably only exists inside of our local project's HTML file. Otherwise, if we are trying to run our project through some other kind of means, in other words, through our container, we're just going to rely upon the export. And just, the export always happens no matter what, whether we are in development or whatever, but this just means we're going to make use of this export statement. Okay, so this looks good. Let's take a quick pause right here. We're going to repeat this exact same process for our cart application as well. That'll be really quick since we now know exactly what we need to do.